Welcome to part 16 of my Tevo Black Widow mods videos. As you can remember from the last video, I was planning on ordering a new control board, and based on what I have on the screen, you can tell that I decided to go with the Duet Wi-Fi board. I will explain my reasoning behind that at the end of the video, but before that, let's just do the rest of the video. So for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be able to work on the control box in this video, and since I don't have a functional 3D printer, I'm not going to be able to print anything either. If you can remember from, I think it was 2 videos ago, I printed quite a bit of parts for relocating the Z-belt to the top of the printer, which is what we will work on today, which involves actually dismantling the entire 3D printer and rebuilding it again, which will take quite a bit of time, but also it's a good thing because, as you can see, I have quite a bit of mess inside the extrusions which I haven't been able to remove, and dismantling this will allow me to get rid of them. So yeah, let's begin. I just begin by removing the camera mount and the filament sensor, and now I also removed the spool holders, which means now it will be easy for me to access every part of the 3D printer, whereas they were getting in the way before. I just removed the top of the extruder. As you can see, there is a bit of mess in there, which I need to investigate what caused that. If you can see it more clearly towards the bearing, I don't know what that is. Now I also removed the part that sits in front of the heat pad carriage, and now remove the heat pad as well. And there is one thing that I noticed. As you can see, the belts are very dirty. I don't really know what caused this, but yeah, it's not good. It will gunk up over time, which is not something that I want. There shouldn't be any lubricant leaking in there, considering that it's just going on a pulley, and the belt itself has nothing black in it. It's just a white belt with steel core, which is, it should be grayish metallic color. So this, I don't really know what caused this, but this is something that I need to investigate, and if it's caused by the belt somehow, I might go with the regular belt in the future. I've also removed the other motors and other plates as well, as you can see, and I started dismantling the frame. I just removed the belt behind the X carriage as well, and again it's the same white steel core belt, and again it has that same black gunk in it, so it seems to be related to belt, or either that or the toothed idler pulleys that I have. Yeah, I might go with a regular belt. I don't know, I will decide while I'm assembling this. I also removed the hot end, and as you can see, there has been some leak that I haven't noticed before. It has a silicone sock, so the excess filament doesn't usually make its way to the hot end because of that silicone sock, which means this is a leak, and upon further investigation, which I don't have a picture of it just confirms it. There has been a leak, which might explain my print quality issues that I had recently. I haven't mentioned those in the video, but yeah, you can see from a few of the prints that I made that my print quality isn't as good as it used to be before, so yeah, that explains it. But anyway, I removed the side extrusions as well and started mounting the new parts. And as you can see, this is the way that these C-beams on the side will look from now on. It just raises the lead screw a bit higher, which allows me to have the toothed, whatever you call those parts, the part that the belt attaches to, on the top of the frame. And this is how it looks when attached to the rest of the printer. So I just did both of the sides. So it's now time for me to assemble the motors and put them on the X as well. But before that, I want to show the new motors that I ordered and received from E3D. One of them is the called Slimline, other one is compact but powerful, and there is the Axis motor as well. So I have a reason why I ordered 3 motors. The motor that I'm using on the extruder isn't really perfect for that use case. It's just too big, it has too much weight, which means it has too much inertia, and it doesn't print the quality that the extruder could print at. So I wanted to replace that, and I also had a pancake motor from Tevo, which I tried using, but it ended up melting the mount and it just got to ridiculously high temperatures. I think I measured 120 degrees Celsius or something ridiculously high on that, so it's not usable. But I don't want to use the bigger motor that I have, so I decided to go with this. I will try the slimline motor, the smallest one, and if that doesn't work, I will try the one bigger, the compact but powerful motor, and see how they work. Hopefully it will be better than the motor that I have currently. As for the biggest motor here, the axis motor, well, I wanted to replace my motor on my the Z-axis for a while. It's just the X carriage is too heavy, which means the motor gets way too hot and it tends to skip steps. Even though I have the VREF on my TMC 2100s turned quite high, it still skips steps and it gets hot, which means that the power motor isn't powerful enough. So I wanted to replace that, and that's my replacement. So yeah, one thing I noticed when looking closer at these motors, which this probably doesn't mean anything in practice, but it just inspires a bit more confidence. These look more shiny, these surfaces are a bit more detailed, and they look just overall higher quality, but again, that just doesn't mean anything. I will test these once I get the printer working, but until that, I can't know for sure. I also ordered these vibration dampers from China. I received 6 of them. One of them was straight up faulty. I threw it in the trash bin. And I used another one, which I will just show in a second. So these are for reducing the noise that the motor makes, but I don't know, these look very cheap. I will try these, see how they work, but I'm not too confident in these lasting for a long time, which means I might need to change these in the future. But for now, I'll use them. So as you can see, I mounted one of them with the new E3D motor for the extruder here. I haven't mounted this to the frame yet. And yeah, this is how it looks when the entire flex shaft included. I also mounted the powerful motor here, and it's not shown in this picture, but I used the rubber dampers as well. But I also, while mounting this, noticed a problem, and that is, as you can see, the belt covers don't really fit. There's a problem with the design that I used, and it's probably meant to be used with the spool holders included with the design, but I already have a better spool holder design, which means I'm not going to use them, which means these belt covers aren't going to be in place. But other than that, as you can see, I finished mounting it there and also mounted the motor here as well. I did a bit of cable management, and I also worked on the fans on the hot end and the layer fan. I mounted these 4-pin fan connectors that are used on computers. So these just allow me to have them plugged and unplugged easily whenever I need to diagnose something, instead of cutting the wire and then resplicing it with those terrible 3M Scotchlock style connectors. But other than that, as you can see, everything is ready. I mounted the frame, and now it's time for me to mount the belt on the Z-axis. But before I do that, I need to level the X carriage, and to do that, there is a simple trick that I found online. I used it when I assembled the printer, when I was first assembling this as well, and that is, you just use 2 beer cans or cola cans if you have those. I just had beer lying around, and then level it according to that. Make sure they are free to move, but they also touch both sides, and try to get it as close as level, and then while it's in that level, just attach the belt. This is better than measuring it, because if you just wanted to use a ruler or something, your eyes aren't going to be able to see it that easily. And as for calipers, it's an awkward angle, which means it's not easy to measure. So this just works good enough. So yeah, I recommend this method if you need to align 2 sides of a x-axis. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, now I'm going to talk about my decision and why I chose the Duet Wi-Fi. and the other board options that I considered. I have this table that I threw together honestly just 5 minutes ago, but this just shows you a quick comparison between these boards. So I had two things in my mind: either just buy the exact same board that I used before, the MKS Gen, and just load the same firmware and let it go for a few more months and then upgrade to a 32-bit board, or just upgrade to a 32-bit board straight away. And I chose to upgrade to 32-bit boards straight away. And the reason that I want to upgrade to 32-bit in the first place is because if you watch the series for long enough, you will remember that when I switched to the flex free drive extruder, I had some problems with the signal generation and the printer didn't work properly until I basically reduced the resolution by reducing the micro stepping by quite a bit. And I don't think that will be an issue when I switch to 32-bit, since it's much more powerful than a simple 8-bit processor. That's the biggest reason that I wanted to upgrade to 32 bits, and I decided to upgrade to 32 bits straight away and just skip buying the exact same board and wasting another $20 to $30 depending on which store I buy it from. As for the 32-bit boards, I considered the Duet Wifi, Smoothie board, MKS S-Base, and Replicape. I eliminated Replicape quite early because it really doesn't have a big enough community out there, and I don't think if I have a problem with it in the future, it's not going to be easy for me to diagnose. So that was enough reason for me to eliminate, considering that it's also quite expensive anyway. As for the other two boards, well, I'm a huge fan of the Trinamic drivers ever since I upgraded to TMC 2100s. They are quieter and they also work better, so I don't want to go with another Electro driver. So that basically eliminates the S-Base and the Smoothie board. And if I wanted to pay that much money anyway, I would go with Duet Wi-Fi. As for the Smoothie board 2, it looks really good on paper, but it was supposed to come out on 2017 according to what they said in 2016, and there's nothing about it in their website, so I don't know if that's still going or it's just vaporware, but I don't want to wait obviously. So yeah, this is my reasoning behind my ordering the Duet Wi-Fi, and I ordered it a week ago, so it already entered the country. It's just waiting for customs clearance, so it should be here in a few days, so hopefully it will be in the next video. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a like below, and thanks for watching.